by the Bank of Industry since 2009. With your kind permission, Mr. Speaker, I'll proceed to lead the petition.
Please go ahead. Any more? Yes, Honorable. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Engineer Mohammed Buba Jajere. I represent Fika Fune Federal Constituency from Yobe State. Mr. Speaker, I have a petition here from Civil Liberties Organization signed by one comrade Ibuchuku Ezike, who is an executive director with the organization. His petition is against the Nigeria Police Force for arrogant disobedience to an order of court by the Nigeria Police. He is appealing for your urgent intervention and justice. May I seek the permission of Mr. Speaker to lay this petition before the House? Thank you.
Please go ahead. Any more petitions? Yes, my brother. Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, Nnamdi Ezechi is my name and I represent Ndo-Kwakwa in the Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Delta State. I rise here this morning to present this petition by UC Okparugo and co. on behalf of Mr. Theophilus Okere Anozie against the Federal Polytechnic Naked Imo State and the Council Federal Polytechnic Naked Imo State for non-compliance with the judgment of National Industrial Court of Nigeria. Mr. Speaker, with the leave of the House, oblige me the privilege to lay this petition.
Please go ahead. Any more petitions? No? All petitions are referred to the Committee on Public Petitions for further legislative action. Matters of urgent public importance. It's my honor to recognize Honorable Engineer Isosa Iyawe. Honorable Isosa, if you are around, please can you rise and move your motion?
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for the opportunity. I would like to move a motion of urgent public importance on the urgent need to address the outrage resulting from the unguarded comments by the Chief Executive of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Authority. I seek the leave of the House in accordance to Order Rule 8, Rule 5, to allow me to move this matter.
The first leg of the motion. My daddy, Honorable Tajuddin, can you second? But first and foremost, tell us the subject matter, and then second, please. You can't be my daddy for nothing.
Right, Honorable Speaker. I'm sorry, I didn't hear him very well.
I thought you were concentrating.
I am.
Eh? Then second it, and then we'll tell you the subject matter later.
Thank you very much, my boss, the Honorable Speaker. I am the Honorable Karim Tajuddin Abisodu. I represent the people of Shaki East, Shaki West, and Atisbo. Right, Honorable Speaker, I'm from Oyo State. I rise to second the motion, ably moved by my colleague. Thank you very much.
Those in support of this motion should say aye.
Aye.
Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg of the motion, Honorable Victor. I saw you raise your, oh, okay. Any seconder to the second leg? The second leg, yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. Beji Yechim Frederick is my name. I represent Sagbama Kremo Federal Constituency. It's Zonkeme, I'm from Bayelsa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I rise to second the second leg of the motion. I say second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable, please be brief.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. The motion once again, the urgent need to address the outrage resulting from the unguarded comment from the Chief Executive of Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Authority. Mr. Speaker, the House notes that the high sulfur contents in fuel causes damages to engines and contributes to air pollution. The House is aware that NMDPRA permits local refineries to produce diesel with sulfur contents of up to 650 ppm till January 2025, as approved by ECOWAS. The House is also aware that recently the Chief Executive of the NMDPRA stated that the diesel produced by Dangote refineries is inferior to ones imported into the country, and that their fuel had a large content of sulfur. The House,
Honorable colleagues, please take your seats.
the House is further aware. The House is further aware that in their defense, Dangote called for the test of the product, which was supervised by members of the House of Reps, wherein it was revealed that Dangote diesel had a sulfur content of 87.5 ppm, whereas the other two sample diesel imported showed sulfur levels exceeding 1,800 ppm and 2,000 ppm respectively. Mr. Speaker, the House is concerned that allegations have been made by NMDPRA were giving licenses to some traders who regularly import high sulfur content diesel into Nigeria, and the use of such products poses grave health risk to financial loss to Nigerians. The House is also concerned that the unguarded statement by the Chief Executive of this agency, which has since been disapproved, sparks an outrage from Nigerians who tagged his undemning and local refineries as insistence on the continued importation of fuel, an act of economic sabotage, as the imported products have been shown to contain high levels of dangerous compounds. Mr. Speaker, the House resolves to call the federal government to suspend the Chief Executive of the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Authority pending conclusive investigations into the allegations against the authority. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Any seconder? Amendment. Yes, Honorable Mark.
Thank you. The People's Speaker, Mark Eset is my name, speaking for the good people of Uyo, who run Setatai and Ibesiposit and Federal Constituency. The Speaker, I'm from Akwa Ibom State. The Speaker, my amendment goes thus, that the House do refer the petition to the ad hoc committee that is investigating the allegations in the petroleum downstream sector.
Order, please.
Are you saying it should be investigated first?
Yes, referred to.
Is that not what you are saying?
Yes, to be referred
by a committee.
By the ad hoc committee set up by the House.
So please
existing.
Rephrase your statement.
Sir, Mr. Speaker, that the motion be referred to the ad hoc committee set up by this House.
Honorable Kusada.
To investigate the allegations against the MD.
Honorable Lalong.
Thank you.
To the relevant committee, right? Relevant committee, not ad hoc committee.
Ad hoc committee.
Why ad hoc?
Mr. Speaker, there is an ad hoc committee in place already handling a standing committee. Sorry, Mr. Speaker,
Honorable
standing committee.
This is an ordinary investigation.
Yes.
Why should it be subjected to an ad hoc committee when we have a standing
committee?
Huh?
Standing committee.
Which committee is in charge of this particular agency? Downstream.
Yes.
So please rephrase your request.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That the motion be referred to the Committee on Downstream Industry for proper investigation. Thank you.
Thank you. Any seconder to this amendment? Honorable Billy.
Thank you, my able speaker. My honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Chief Dr. Billy Famous Adesuwa Sawaru. I represent the good people of Oriomo Hode Federal Constituency of Edo State, a very proud Benin chief. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second this amendment ably moved by Honorable Mark. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye.
Aye.
Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This committee, this motion is referred to the Committee on Downstream and Industries for further legislative action. The next motion is coming from Right Honorable Zakaria Dauda Yampa. If Zakaria is around, please can you rise and move your motion?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I'm Doda Kari Nyampa, member representing the good people of Madagali Michika Federal Constituency. I rise under Order 8, Rule 5, matter of urgent public importance on the urgent need to address the devastating effect of flooding in Madagali and Michika Federal Constituency, that the House suspend its relevant rules to enable me take this matter under urgent public importance. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder to the first leg, Honorable Werema. Sometimes I pronounce the name incorrectly, so please
Thank
second.
you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name remains Boniface Emeregua, representing the people of Ikwere, Emoa Federal Constituency. I'm from Rivers State, my lord. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the motion by my honorable colleague, Yampa, that matters of urgent importance and should be moved. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg. Honorable Fatuma, can you second after indicating the subject matter of this motion? Honorable Fatuma.
Thank you very much. My name is Honorable Fatima Talba. I'm supporting the motion, the second leg of the motion, ably moved by the mover.
I didn't call you Honorable Talba. There is somebody who was listening very attentively, and I think he deserves to second. Honorable Fatoma.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. The answer is down, the Agbaki of his land. I remain Fatobo Olushola. I represent the good people of Ado Ekiti, Irepodu Ifeolodu Federal Constituency. I'm from Ekiti State. I rise to second the second leg of the motion moved by my colleagues. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Yampa, please proceed, but be brief, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I remain Honorable Dauda Zakaria Nyampa, member representing the good people of Madagali Michika Federal Constituency from Adamawa State. The House note that on the 12th day of July 2024, Madagali Michika Federal Constituency of Adamawa State faced increasingly severe flooding, which resulted to the destruction of houses, farmland, bridges, and other properties worth billions of naira. Also note that the incident caused the displacement of families and other inhabitants of the affected areas, threatening thousands of lives. Aware that the flood affects Waga in Madagali local government area, Dhaka, Moda, Musi, Bulabuli of Michika local government area. Also aware that inhabitants of the aforesaid communities are experiencing severe hardship and are exposed to hazardous health risks as we
Order, please.
Not only do the people in these communities have to live in and walk through stagnant, dirty water to get to work or school, they also experience daily battle with waterborne diseases. Resolve: urge the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to monitor the state of preparedness against disaster, formulate policy, and educate citizens on measures to help prepare and prevent flood. Urge the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, and Northeast Development Commission, NEDC, to carry out sensitization and urgently provide relief materials to the victims, especially the displaced victims. Call on Federal Road Maintenance Agency to carry out remedial measures on the washout bridge at Waga in Madagali because the people are seriously suffering. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleague, I so move that this matter be treated with all urgency. Thank you very much.
Any seconder? Honorable Idem.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues. My name is Idem Unyime, member representing Ukanafun, Orowana Federal Constituency of Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as moved by my colleague, my neighbor, Honorable Yampa. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. Ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on National Emergency on NEMA for further legislative action. The next motion is coming from Honorable Prince Abiodun Derin Adeshida. If Honorable Adeshida is around, please can you rise and move your motion? Is he around? No? Honorable Patrick Umo, if you're around, please rise and move your motion. Honorable Patrick Umo, you have the floor.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Speaker. Esteemed colleagues, my name is Honorable Dr. Patrick Umo. I represent the entire people of Ikorekpene, Esienudim, Obodokara Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Akwa Ibom State. The Speaker, may I apply that the relevant rule be suspended to enable me to take this motion of urgent public importance. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder to the first leg? If you know you are just recently married, stand up and second the first leg.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Mukhtar Talani Shagaya, representing Nigerians starting from Ilorin West, Asa Federal Constituency of Kwara State. I rise to second the first leg of the motion as ably moved by my colleague. I so second. And also appreciate all my colleagues for your support throughout this process. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. The second leg, Honorable Anka.
Thank you very much. My name is Honorable Isa Muhammad Anka. I rise here to support the second leg of the motion. I so second. Thank you very much.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. Honorable, you have the floor. Please go ahead.
Motion on the urgent need for the House to protect institutional sanctity and correct the negative portrayal of its resolution by the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria by calling on the Council to commence verification of nurses and midwives. The House notes the power of the House to make laws for the peace, order, and good governance of the Federation, including the power of the House to, by its resolution, compel an executive agency to carry out a particular act or take necessary action on a given matter in the interest of the public. Also notes that the House, by its resolution of Tuesday, 27th February 2024, urged the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria not to implement the revised guidelines for verification, dated February 7, 2023, pending the investigation by the House. Further notes that in a letter dated 13th March 2024 and received on 14th of March 2024, the clerk to the National Assembly communicated the House resolution of Tuesday, 27 February 2024 to the Registrar CEO of the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria. Further notes that upon the receipt of the House resolution of Tuesday, 27 February 2024, on 14th March 2024, the Council immediately shut down their site for verification of nurses and midwives and boldly and maliciously wrote on the site, unquote, verification services suspended in compliance with the directive of the House of Representatives of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Aware that the House resolution of Tuesday, 27 February 2024 did not by any stretch of imagination or interpretation request the Council to shut down their site for verification of nurses. Rather, it requested
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To make the guidelines suitable to all the qualified nurses.
No, I'm not asking you to explain. I'm just
That is
asking
what
you
I'm
to
calling
take
you, Mr.
position
Speaker.
on this matter.
And yes, all other platforms now, they started registration because there is so much problem in the Western world that
Please
high
return to your
resources
seat.
to enable them travel abroad. And the Nursing Council and Midwifery initiated screening of all these nursing people with a recent guideline. And my dear brother here brought a motion before they have to suspend that screening, which they now set up a committee to investigate. And the committee are doing their job. It came up now for them to open by using old guidelines to open up the site for them to open up the site to using the old guidelines, abandoning the recent guidelines established by Nursing Council. The amendment is this: that if they are going to open the site to start it, they should use their new guidelines according to the regulation of Nursing and Midwifery Council.
Okay, we put the question. Those in support of this amendment, you say aye. Those against, you say nay. I'll put the question again. Those in support of this amendment, you say aye. Those against, you say nay. The nays have it. Those in support of this motion, you say aye. Those against, you say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Health Institution for further legislative action. Leader, please can you suspend our relevant rules to enable us to take more motions?
Mr. Speaker, Julius Humphrey, Owen Federal Constituency, Edo State. I rise to move that we suspend relevant rules to enable us to take more motions. I so move.
The leader, please can you second?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honorable colleague, I am Ali Isa JC, PhD. I rise to second the motion moved by our leader to suspend our relevant rules to more than two motions of order. I so move. Second, thank you.
Those in support of this motion, you say aye. Those against, you say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, the next motion is coming from Honorable Akite Salman Idris. If Honorable Salman Idris is around, please can you rise up and move your motion? Sorry, is Honorable Salman around? Salman Idris?
I am here, sir.
Oh, please go ahead now.
Order, please.
When the motion came.
Honorable colleagues, please return to your seat, please.
Urgent matters.
Have you moved?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am architect.
Honorable Koko.
President Kababunu Ijubu Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, what I have standing before you is an announcement, sir. Yes.
Honorable Salman, did you move? Your motion.
I don't have any motion standing here. I have a letter before you, sir.
Pardon?
I say I have a letter before you, Mr. Speaker, an announcement.
Oh. So sorry, please. I will read the letter.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The next motion of urgent public importance is coming from Honorable Engineer Rodney Ibe Kipinam. If Honorable Rodney, can you rise and move your motion? Honorable Rodney.
Honorable colleagues, return to your seat now, sir.
Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Honorable Gaya,
My highly
please return to your
respected
seat, please.
colleagues, my name is Honorable Engineer Rodney Ibikebina Ambaye.
Honorable David.
I represent the good people of Southern Nigeria Federal Constituency.
Honorable David.
of Bayelsa State.
Honorable David, please return to your seat.
I rise under Order 8, Rule
Honorable
4,
Gaya.
to take an urgent
Honorable Gali.
important motion on the
Please return to your
urgent
seat.
need to contain oil spillage at
Honorable
Olugboboro
Koko.
City in Southern
Koko.
Nigeria from Nigerian Ajib
Please
Oil
take your
Company
seat.
facility to install further environmental damages. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Husseini.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Honorable Hassan Sheikh Hussein. I represent the good people of Nasarawa Federal Constituency, Kano State. I rise to second the motion, heavily moved by my colleague. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye.
Aye.
Those against should say nay. There is have it. Honorable Gilo, can you second the second leg? Okay, it's not Gilo. Please go ahead.
Yeah, using it.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My dear colleagues, Umar Ajilo is my name, member representing Magharibi Kudan Federal Constituency. Of course, I'm from the Zazzau Emirate Council of Kaduna State. Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the second leg of the urgent matter from my very good friend and brother. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. There is have it. Honorable Rodney.
The House, aware that National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, NOSRA, to oil spillage problems in Nigeria. The Oil Spill Recovery Cleanup, Remediation and Damage Assessment Regulation 2011 is a regulatory tool set out operational standards and guidelines dealing with oil spillages to protect environment, economic interests, and health of host communities who suffer direct impact of oil spillages and production in Nigeria. The House knows that Southern Nigeria Federal Constituency and several constituencies of South Nigeria host oil installations, facilities, and companies who carry out oil exploration, exploitation, and production process in Nigeria, in the Nigerian coastal communities. One of such companies include the Nigerian Oil Company, among
Order,
others involved
please.
in production on the
Honorable Dabo.
The House shocked
Honorable
that
Dabo.
since April 2024, the
Honorable
oil
Sani Eniwa.
facility belonging to
Please.
Nigerian Ajib Oil Company, the Ogwembiri through Tebiba pipeline ruptured and has been gushing out crude continuously till date. Without the requisite urgent action. The attention of the company has been drawn to this by the oil spillage and the failure to arrest the spill till date. The House disturbed that the spill has affected the economic trees, water resources, aquatic lives, and disrupted the social and economic activities of a community that has been very peaceful over the time. The failure to urgently address this very serious situation could lead to unrest in an area already bedeviled by poverty and lack that rely heavily on farming and fishing. The volume of the damage recorded since April 2024 till date, if not quickly arrested, could cause further damage to the waters and their content into the annihilation of is the only source of livelihood of most. Despite the prompt report of this incident, the slow reaction of the Nigerian Oil Company, who owns these facilities, to immediately arrest the situation is worrisome. Suddenly, the sluggishness in response to dangers of this nature by regulatory agencies such as National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, not to promptly detect the area of leakage and contain the spillage to assuage residents of the impacted Southern Niger coastal communities is disturbing. These are communities who are predominantly fishermen and women whose livelihood, health, and right to clean and safe environment is being violated by the continuous spillage. The House desirous of intervening and or taking a decisive step towards ensuring protection of lives and livelihood of coastal communities in Southern Niger Federal constituency and the riverine communities dot resolves as follows. One, call on the management of Nigerian Agip Oil Company to urgently stop to contain the oil leakages from its facility at Ogboimbiri stroke Tebidaba, affecting Olugboboro community in Southern Niger Federal constituency. Two, mandate the House Committee on Environment and Petroleum Upstream to carry out an extensive investigation into the immediate and remote causes of the spillage to ascertain and assess the content of impact to Lugoboro community of Southern Niger Federal constituency and report to the House for further legislative action. Three, call on National Emergency Management Agency to urgently supply relief material to ameliorate the sufferings of the impacted communities who have lost source of livelihood. Lastly, call on Nigerian Agip Oil Company to immediately pay compensation to the affected communities for the economic trees and aquatic life damage since April 2024 by the spillage. Mr. Speaker, and my highly respected colleagues, I so move. Thank you.
Honorable Kelechi.
Right, the Honorable Speaker. My name is Honorable Kelechi Rogu. Right, Honorable Speaker, I'm from Rivers State. I represent the people of Eche Omoma constituency. I rise to second the motion moved by my colleague. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. Ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committees on Environment, Petroleum Upstream, and NEMA for further legislative action. The next motion of urgent public importance is coming from Honorable Abedi Yeltimon Frederick on behalf of the Committee on Federal Capital Area Councils. If Honorable Abedi is around, please can you rise and move your motion?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for yielding the floor to me. Agbedi Yechim Frederick is my name. I represent Sagbama Ekremo Federal Constituency. Zonkeme, I'm from Bayelsa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the devastating impact of the inferno that ravaged Karo Market in Abuja Municipal Area Council, Abuja, Federal Capital Territory, brought under Order 8 Rule 5. Mr. Speaker, this is a fire incident and the matter is so urgent. That is why I'm coming under Rule 8, Order 8, Rule 5, to enable the House take this matter. Let Order 8, Rule 5 be suspended to enable me take this motion. I so move, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues.
Honorable Gaza, can you second?
The Right Honorable Speaker, the party of Karu, my esteemed colleagues, my name is Gaza Jonathan Befi, and I represent the people of Karu, not the Karu referred to here, but the Karu in Nasarawa State, Kefi, and Kokona Federal Constituency. I rise to support this all-important and urgent motion as ably moved by my colleague, Honorable Frederick Agbedi. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. The second leg. Honorable Lau.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable Member. My name is Kwamoti Bitrus Lowry. I speak for the people of Jamsan Malamude Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the second leg of the motion. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those
Mr. Speaker, and honorable participants that ravaged our market in Abuja Municipal Area Council, Abuja, Federal Capital Territory, brought under, and 47 others. The House notes that on Thursday, 27th June 2024, traders and entire Karo community of Abuja Municipal Area Council were thrown into confusion and anguish owing to the fire outbreak that ravaged the popular Karo market in Karo, Abuja Municipal Area Council, Federal Capital Territory, resulting in the destruction of goods and other properties worth millions of naira. Also notes that the fire incident destroyed most of the structures, goods, and facilities in that part of the market, leaving the traders traumatized by the effect of the disaster. All efforts by the fire services and other good Nigerians to contain the fire proved abortive. Disturbed that this is the main market that serves the Karo community and its environs, the fire incident had led to the loss of a greater part of the market, loss of earnings for about 1,400 persons, whose main source of income was trading in this market. Aware that no citizen of Nigeria should be allowed to wallow in hopelessness, and the fact that they are our hosts in Amak FCT, there is urgent need to bring relief to the affected to cushion the effect. The House resolves to 1, urge the National Emergency Management Agency of Nigeria, NEMA, and the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management to immediately send relief materials to the affected traders. 2, further urge the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, Sweden, to provide grants and startup capital to the affected traders to enable them start afresh. 3, urge the House of Reps to vote 100 million naira only from the 6 months 50% salary pledge to support the victims. 4, mandate the House committees on FCT Area Council and auxiliary matters, emergency and disaster preparedness, small and medium enterprises development committee, Nigeria, and state compliance to ensure compliance. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I so move. Thank you.
Hello, before I put the question, I hope members have looked at the prayers clearly. One of the prayers is to urge the House to vote 100,000 only from the 6 month 50% salary pledged to support the victims. Are we all on the same page on this? Yes, leader.
Hello, sir.
Let's
Mr. Speaker, my very respected honorable colleagues, I remain Ali JC, PhD. I want to amend, my prayers is to delete prayer 3. No, his request is talking about a shop in Karu that got fire incident. And as we speak, in Plenary, we have another shops that got fired. So how can we accommodate other cases in that one? And also the 50%, the 50% cut promised by the House of Representatives is clearly stated that we agreed to cut 50% and put the money back to the government. So we are not here to reallocate the money to another project. Mr. Speaker.
First for a second, just a point of what we did the other day was to give support for food palliatives to the whole entire country. It's not that we are setting aside money for all kind of interventions. It is purely and strictly to supply or to provide food palliatives to our communities. This request coming from this motion is talking about utilizing that money for other purposes. So I think there is a kind of mix-up there that we need to clarify. Secondly, members need to understand what he's asking. The monies that we said we are going to provide for the whole entire country. He is requesting this house to set aside 50% of it to solve this problem in the federal capital. I hope we understand. I'm only an umpire. You will be the people to pass the judgment at the end of the day. So we get a seconder to the amendment, the prayer 3, which says that 100,000 should be deducted from the 50% of our salaries that we all pledge should be deleted completely from the prayers. So any seconder? No, I'm not. Only point of clarification so that some people later will not come and say, we didn't understand what the prayer is. Yes, leader.
Mr. Speaker, and I represent the Ala Federal Constituency of Kano State. Mr. Speaker,
Order, please.
I stand to second
Honorable
for the amendment prayer number 3 by Honorable Ali Isa JC. I do second, sir.
Those in support of this amendment should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Any seconder to the motion? Honorable Hussein Jalo.
Right, Honorable Speaker, my colleagues, I'm Husseini Mohammed Jalo, representing the Federal Constituency of Kaduna State. I hereby second the motion ably moved by my colleague. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the committees on SEMA, NEMA, and the Committee on FCT Area Councils for further legislative action. Thank you. Honorable colleagues, on a very happy note, I would like to announce the Honorable Architect Salman Idris member representing Kaba, Puno, Ijumu Federal Constituency of Ikogi State, has a very important message for you. And I read the message. Notification of defection from the African Democratic Congress, ADC, to the All Progressive Congress. And his message reads as follows. I wish to formally notify the Right Honorable Speaker and respected colleagues that due to the national leadership crisis within African Democratic Congress, I have resolved after careful consideration and consultations with critical stakeholders, political associates and constituents in Kaba, Bono Ijumu Federal Constituency, and Kogi State allied to move from the African Democratic Congress, ADC, to the All Progressive Congress, APC.
Point of order.
Immediate effect.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
As a
Mr. Speaker.
I believe
Point
that
of order.
this lecture has become exigent owing to the increased call from our constituents to align myself with the political party that will best accommodate our collective political values and principles.
Point of
Please
order.
accept my best
Constitutional
regards
point of order.
and appreciation.
Mr. Speaker.
You have the
Constitutional point
parliament.
of order.
Honorable Architect Idris.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, point of order. Thank you. Mr. Speaker. Constitutional
Honorable
order.
Jesse, do you think you even
Mr.
would you be able
Speaker,
to speak?
I remain Honorable Alisa.
The voice of the majority is already stifling you down.
Mr. Speaker, I remain Honorable Ali Isa Jesse, representing Balanga Billy Federal Constituency. I am from Gombe State. Mr. Speaker, I'm coming under Section 68 of the 1999 Constitution. Mr. Speaker, with your permission, Section 68 clearly states a member of the House or Senate, a member of the Senate or House of Rep shall vacate his seat if then you go to G of the Constitution, being a election to the House sponsored by one political party, he become a member of another political party before the expiration of his tenure. Mr. Speaker,
You did not read the point.
I keep talking.
There are exceptions.
I need protection. Mr. Speaker, this section has also been interpreted by the ruling of the Supreme Court. While I wish my good brother, Honorable Salman, well, I wish to declare his seat back and let him go back and contest in the platform of APC and come back, because as we speak, the mandate is holding in the APC. To be declared back up, Mr. Speaker. And let me remind you, Mr. Speaker. Let me remind you, the ruling you will do today will be for another day. I know a lot of APC members that want to become to PDP, but because they are afraid of that section, they are being careful. So APC will lose a lot of members if you put this president, Mr. Speaker.
Okay.
Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, leader. It's our prayer that as you resume in September, we'll also have your letter Some type of letter.
Carried.
And defective from PD.
Carried.
Thank you for what you have said. Honorable Salman, congratulations.
Carried.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. We will go to court.
We are waiting.
Court. Honorable Salman. Honorable Salman. Honorable Salman. Oh, Bukungo.
Honorable members, the first business of the day is
Leader, why are you
presentation of 40 bills. And now invite the clerk to read their short.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable members.
We are going to court. We will approach the court.
Technologies and Scientists Registration, etc. Bill 2024, first reading. National Commission for Elderly Persons Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. Counter-supported Bill 2024, first reading. Nigeria College of Aviation Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Federal
Order, please.
Act Bill 2024, first reading. Nigeria Defense Academy Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Federal Polytechnic Acts Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Sixth Alteration Bill 2024, first reading. Federal High Court Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 Sixth Alteration Bill 2024, first reading. Federal College of Entrepreneurship and
Order. Please return to your seat.
Order.
That one is not.
Honorable Alima Daki,
Honorable Satomi.
please, can you sit down and maintain order, please?
Please.
Honorable Ijaya. Honorable Ijaya.
Order, please.
Deputy Whip. Deputy Whip. You know, members have not heard your voice. And I think they tend to listen to you more sometimes. Eh?
Federal College of
Order, please, order, order.
Order, please.
Order, order in the house. Engineer Satomi, order, please. Order, order in the house.
Federal College of Entrepreneurship and Skill Acquisition, Lubo Gumbi State Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Number of Judges Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Counter Subversion Bill 2024, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 Operation Bill 2024, first reading. Espionage, Prevention and Prohibition Bill 2024, Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, Sixth Operation Bill 2024, first reading. 2024, first reading. Compulsory free university Bill 2024, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, Sixth Alteration Bill 2024, first reading. Counter-Insurgency Bill 2024, first reading. Federal College of Dental Technology and Therapy, Zaki, Bauchi State Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. National Tomato Production Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. Nigeria Institute of Mining and Geosciences Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. National Youth Improvement Management Commission Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, Sixth Alteration Bill 2024, first reading. Federal Teaching Hospital, Abuja Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. Sugarcane Research Institute Bill 2024, first reading. National Hospital for Women and Fistula Care Center, Bauchi Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. Federal Colleges of Education Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Other Communities Development Agency Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, Alteration Bill 2024, first reading. Federal Polytechnics Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, Alteration Bill 2024, first reading. Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Nigeria Oil and Gas Industry Content Development Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, Alteration Bill 2024, first reading. Niger Delta Development Commission Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. National Institute of Technical and Vocational Education, Ankara, Katsina State Establishment Bill 2024, first reading.
The second business of the day is presentation of report of the Committee on Appropriation on a bill for an act to amend the Appropriation Act 2024 to authorize the issue in the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation the total sum of 3,200,000,000 3,200,000,000,000 naira for capital expenditure for number 2024. Something in the name of Honorable presentation. He is therefore invited to present the report. Sorry, my attention has been drawn to the correct correction of this report. So I'll take it again, please. That the House do receive the report of the Committee on Appropriation on a bill for an act to authorize the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation the total sum of 35 trillion 55 billion 536 billion 770,218 naira only, of which 742 billion 786 billion 788,150 naira only is for statutory transfers. 8,270,960,606,831 naira only is for debt service. 11,268,530,380,853 naira only is for expenditure, while the sum of 13,773,000,000 275,994,384 naira only is for contribution to the development fund for capital expenditure for the year ending 31st December 2024. I now invite the chairman to move that the House receive this report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Honorable Abubakar Bichi, member representing Bichi Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that House do receive the report of the Committee on Appropriation on a bill of an act to authorize the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation the total sum of 35 trillion 55 billion 536 million 770,218 naira only, of which 1 trillion 742 billion 786 million 788,150 naira only is for statutory transfers. 8 trillion 270 billion 960 million 606,801 13 trillion 773 billion 275 million 994 million 1,300 only for contribution to the development fund for capital expenditure for the year ending on 31st December 2024. The Speaker is so moved.
Now, before I put the question, let me make a clarification for records. The figures we are reading is nothing other than the current budget plus the additional amount required by way of this amendment. So what we are literally adding is just the 6.3 million we read last week. And once we sorry, so when you add the 6.3 to the current budget, it will give you the figures that we just announced now, just for record, so that people will not say we have a new of 35 trillion. It still remains the 6.3 trillion amendment that we read last week. So we call 6.2, sorry. So we go for a second. Honorable Garwe, can you second, please?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my very respected colleagues. My name is Right Honorable Igariwe Iduma Emo. I represent Afipo and Eda Federal Constituency. I'm from Ebonyi State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion that we do receive this report. I so second.
Should say aye. Those against should say nay. Ayes have it. Please proceed and lay your report. The third business of the day is presentation of report of the Committee on Finance on the bill for an act to amend Finance Act 2023 to impose and charge windfall tax on banks and provide for administration of the tax and for related matters. Standing in the name of Honorable James Abiodun, honorable members who recall that the bill was read to the committee on Wednesday, 17 July 2024. The report is ready for presentation. Honorable Malaki is hereby invited to. Is the chairman finance around? What of the deputy? Honorable Saidu. I was meant to understand that they are still harmonizing with the Senate. So we step this one temporarily before his arrival. So we go to the next item on our agenda, which is the fourth business of the day, which is a presentation of two reports of the Committee on Federal Road Safety Commission. Honorable Adesina is hereby invited to present the report. Federal Road Safety.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Prince Abiodun Adechida. I represent Akure North and Akure South Federal Constituency of Ondo State. I'll present the reports, two reports, that the House do receive the report of the Committees of Federal Road Safety Commission, FRSC, and Federal Capital Territory, FCT, on need to compel road users to obey traffic lights, signals, and road traffic regulations in the FCT, HR 248/10/2023, referred 75/2024, and that the House do receive the report of the Committees on Federal Road Safety Commission, FRSC, and Police Affairs on Abuse of Sarin on Nigeria Roads, HR 1902/2024, referred 12 October 2023. With your permission, I present the report.
Any seconder is the deputy chairman Road Safety around? The deputy chairman is not around. So, Honorable Zana, please second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Honorable Zanna Osman, representing the good people of Kagagu, Bioma, Komeri, Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Borno State. I rise to second a motion, a report presented by the committee, Chairman Committee on Federal Road Safety, Honorable Abiodun. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The fifth order of the day is presentation of report of the 18th session of the Parliamentary Union of Islamic Conference of OIC members of climate change in the hall held at Sofitel Hotel, Abidjan, Republic of Cote d'Ivoire, from the 2nd to 5th of March 2024, standing in the name of Honorable Hassan Kekaku Jagdua. Honorable Jagdua is hereby invited to present the report.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Speaker, my dear colleagues. I remain Hassan Keikaku Jadua, member representing Bade Jakuko Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Yobe State. Mr. Speaker, that with your kind permission, that the House do receive the report of the 18th session of the Parliamentary Union of the Islamic Conference, PUIC, member states on climate changes in the world held at the Sofitel Hotel.
Order, please. Please, honorable members, be seated, please.
From March 2024. With your kind permission, sir, you can allow me to submit this report to the House, sir. Thank you.
Are you done? Any seconder, please. Any seconder. Honorable Yakubu. Who am I saying there? Honorable Leko, please go ahead.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Speaker, my dear respected colleagues. My name is Honorable Jafar Rileko, and I represent Nigerians from Pogoro, Dastafa, Walewa. I rise this afternoon to second this motion.
Order, please.
That being read be tendered before the House. I so second, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. Please, Honorable, proceed and lay your report. The sixth business of the day is presentation of 5 interim reports of the Committee on Power, standing in the name of Honorable Victor Nwokolo. Honorable Nwokolo is hereby invited to present the report.
Honorable Speaker, my respected colleagues, my name is Honorable Victor Nwokolo, member representing Ika North East, Ika South Federal Constituency. I hereby move that the House do receive the unlisted reports from the House Committee on Power, interim reports of the Joint Committees on Power, Commerce, National Plan and Economic Development, as well as the delegated legislation on electricity tariff, HR 166, to investigate the blackout in a relay Chikpakpa, Isedo, Ilaja local government area of Ondo State, HR 60072 2023. Report on the call to rescue the power transmission station in Yanagua, Bayelsa State, HR 14303 2024. Report on the need to reactivate the collapsed 3311 kV electricity line from Sokoto, Kware, and Guadaba, Alela, Sokoto State, HR 202 2023. And the need to construct 330/132 33 kVA to 150 MVA to 60 MVA transmission station at Ayamba to improve electricity supply to Kogi East, Kogi State, HR 12107 2023. I do move.
Any seconder, you must be a very powerful man to second a motion from the Committee on Power. Let's see those who are powerful. And power is not just in the body, also in the bank accounts. Aye. Honorable Deacon, I think you qualify.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Honorable Chike John Okafo, PhD. I represent the good people of Imembano, Ituboma, both federal constituency and from Imo State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the very powerful motion moved by Vito Wokolo for the House to consider the powerful report that it has. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. I will powerfully put the question. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Chair, proceed and lay your report. Honorable colleagues, if you remember, we read the third business of the day, which is presentation of the report of the Committee of Finance earlier on. At that time, the chairman wasn't on seat. Now that he's around, we invite him to present his report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is James Abiodun Faleke. I represent Ikeja Federal Constituency. I am from Lagos, and by the grace of the leadership and chairman finance, Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the House consider the report of the Committee on Finance on the bill for an act to amend the Finance Act 2023 to impose and charge windfall levy, not a tax, windfall levy on banks and provide for the administration of the levy for related matters. HB 1611. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Is Honorable Saidu around, the deputy chair? No? Honorable Rotimi?
Tunde Rotimi Jr., I represent the good people of Ekiti North 1 Federal Constituency comprising Ikole and Oyo local governments. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as ably moved by Right Honorable Abiodun Faleke. Thank you very much.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable, please proceed and lay your report. Honorable colleagues, the first order of the day is the third reading of a bill for an act to establish Dietitian Council of Nigeria to regulate the profession of dietitians and for related matters, standing in the name of the House leader. Honorable members, we recall that the House adopted the report of the Committee of the Whole on the bill on Thursday, 7 July 2024. I therefore call on the leader of the House to move that the bill be read the third term.
Mr. Speaker, Professor Julius Overe, our federal constituency, Edo State, arise to move that a bill for an act to establish the Dietitian Council of Nigeria to regulate the profession of dietitians and for related matters, HB 214, read a third time. I so move.
The minority leader, can you second, please?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honorable colleague, I rise to second the motion moved by our dear leader that the bill for an act to establish Dietitians Council of Nigeria to regulate the professions of dietitians and for other related matters, HB 1114. I hereby second it.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk.
The Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, the bill for an act to establish the
Order, please. Honorable, please report to us, please.
regulate the profession of dietitians and for related matters, third reading.
Return to your seats, please.
Time and passed. The second order of the day is consideration of the this is the one now, not this one. This is the procedural. Honorable colleagues, the next business of the day is presentation of two bills. I now invite the clerk to read the short titles.
The Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, National Minimum Wage Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Nigeria Police Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading.
Honorable colleagues, the next order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of the bill for an act to amend the National Minimum Wage Act number 8 of 2019 to increase the national minimum wage and reduce the time for periodic review of the national minimum wage from 5 to 3 years and for related matters. Standing in the name of the House Leader. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 23rd July
Hold,
2024.
order, please. Munoli. Munoli.
Then, honorable colleagues, I will now invite the chairman, Rules and Business, to move that the House to suspend the relevant provisions of the standing orders to enable the House commence and conclude debate on the general principles of the bill or an act to amend the National Minimum Wage Act to increase the national minimum wage and reduce the time for periodic review of the national minimum wage from 5 to 3 years and for related matters. Chairman.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Francis Ejirogane Waibes, my name. I represent the entire people of Ugele North, Ugele South, and Udu. I'm from Delta State. Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I move that the House do suspend Order 12 Rule 4.1 to enable the House commence and conclude debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to amend the National Minimum Wage Act number 8 of 2019 to increase the national minimum wage and to reduce the time for periodic review of the national minimum wage from 5 to 3 years and for related matters. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Is there any labor man? Why is the chairman labor? Committee of Labor.
I am here, sir.
Please, can you
Mr. Speaker,
second?
I'm here.
Labor.
Chairman
Order,
labor.
please.
Labor.
Mr. Speaker.
Order, please.
Mr. Deputy, please go ahead.
Peter. Mr. Speaker, my name is Ashiwaju Adeboye Gadi Farati, representing Akoko Southeast Southwest Federal Constituency. I'm from Ondo State. I this morning to second the motion. The bill, heavily moved by the majority leader. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. The leader, can you please move that the bill be read for a second time?
Mr. Speaker, Professor Julius C. Hanvere, DSSRS, one federal constituency act to increase the national minimum wage and reduce the time of periodic review of the national minimum wage from 5 to 3 years, and for related matters, HB 1677 be read a second time. I so move.
The minority.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to second a motion moved by our leader for a bill of an act to amend the National Minimum Wage Act number 8 of 2019 to increase the national minimum wage and, reduce the time for periodic review of the national minimum wage from 5 years to 3 years, and for related matters. HB 1677, I hereby second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. Ayes have it. Leader, can you lead the debate? Leader, please lead the debate.
Mr. Speaker, this is rather at this point a very straightforward bill. As you know, we have had debates, we've had a big strike, we've had threatened strikes, and we've had agreements and disagreements over the national minimum wage. And we are happy that at the end of the day, the federal government and other stakeholders, particularly the NLC and the TUC, reached some understanding about the national minimum wage, moving it from 30,000 to 70. And I think at this time, when people are talking about hunger, distress, and stress in the country,
Honorable colleagues, please be seated, please.
For
Return to your seats, please.
along with other palliatives and other actions taken by the government. And I think this contributes to providing a holistic buffer to the living conditions of our people and for their existential realities. It's on this ground that I'm quite happy and pleased to move for an amendment to the Principal Act number 8, 2019 to amend the sections 3.1 of the Principal Act amended by substituting 30,000 for the figure 70,000 in one line, and section 3.4 of the Principal Act amended by substituting the words 5 years to 3 years. The government has even been even more considerate to say
Order, please, order.
rather than wait for 5 years to negotiate, it should not be every 3 years. I think this gives an assurance that the government is willing, even in 3 years' time, to sit down with them and further discuss how to make life better for Nigerian workers. And it is my hope that the workers, as we're already seeing from the NLC, will reciprocate by supporting the efforts of this government to refocus the position and redirect the realities of Nigeria and our socioeconomic and political growth and development. It is my prayer that our colleagues should support this bill and let it pass through to the enjoyment of Nigerian workers and all Nigerians in general. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
I think this is a very straightforward bill, which I'm sure each and every member is on the same page. We all accept the need for the country, our organized labor to have a minimum wage. So we don't need to subject it to any debate. We can just get a seconder and move on. So, Leader, are you willing? Are you with the labor? Or you against labor? If you're against labor, don't second. We can get somebody.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my very respected honorable colleague. We will always be with the labor. I will support them always.
Is it the Labour Party or the labor? You know, there is a distinction between the two.
Labor is labor, Mr. Speaker. Whether
Okay, Labour Party is labor.
or labor. I, while also acknowledging and appreciating the government and Labour for agreeing in these negotiations. We also want to appeal to the government to still look at other areas that can make things better for the Nigerian workers. The issue of electricity tariff, the issue of fuel and other sensitive economic issues. By reducing the prices will also assist and support the workers, Mr. Speaker. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. Ayes have it. Back.
Order, please.
The right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, bill for an act to amend the National Minimum Wage Act number 8 of 2019 to increase the national minimum wage and reduce the time for periodic review of the national minimum wage from 5 to 3 years and for related matters, second reading.
Bill referred to the committee of the whole. Thank you. The next order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to amend the Nigerian Police Act 2020 to enable a person appointed to the office of Inspector General of Police remain in office until the end of the term, stipulated in the letter of appointment and for related matters. Standing in the name of the House Leader. Honorable members recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 23rd July 2024. I now invite the chairman, who's on business, to move that the House do suspend the relevant provision of the standing orders to enable the leader of this motion.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. I move that the House do suspend Order 12 through 41 to enable the House commence and conclude debate on general principles of a bill for an act to amend the Nigerian Police Act 2020 to enable a person appointed to the office of Inspector General of Police remain in office until the end of the term stipulated in the letter of appointment and for related matters. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
The leader. Okay. Let me, sorry, you can sit down. Any seconder? Is the deputy chairman who's on business around, or Baruna? Is he around? No? Any seconder, please. Honorable Adodogwa, can you second this motion? But because you are leader, I will not ask you to mention the subject matter.
Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues, I am Honorable Ado Dogwa. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I represent the good people of Dogwa Chudumada constituency. Mr. Speaker, by your directive, and having no option to turn down your directive, Mr. Speaker, I rise to move second the motion heavily moved in respect of the second leg of this motion, Mr. Speaker, as moved by my respected colleague. Mr. Speaker, I so move and I'm loyal.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. Ayes have it. Leader.
Mr. Speaker, Professor Julius Ihonvire, Owa Drug Constituency, to amend the Nigeria Police Act 2020 to enable a person appointed to the office of Inspector General of Police remain in office until the end of the term stipulated in the letter of appointment and for related matters, HB 1678, be read a second time. I so move.
Thank you. Okay. The minority leader, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honorable colleagues, I rise to support a motion moved by our able leader that the bill for an act to amend the Nigerian Police Act 2020 to enable a person appointed to the office of the Inspector General of Police remain in office until the end of the term stipulated in the letter of appointment and
Okay.
other related matters, HB 1678. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. Let's have it. Clerk. You have debated by already seconded on behalf of the opposition.
The Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, bill for an act to amend the Nigerian Police Act 2020 to enable a person appointed to the office of Inspector General of Police remain in office until the end of the term stipulated in the letter of appointment and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to the committee of the whole. The next order of the day is consideration of report of the Committee on Appropriation on the bill for an act to amend the Appropriation Act 2024 to the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation the total sum of 35 trillion 55 billion
Order, please.
770,280
Order.
naira only, of which $960,606,831 naira only is for debt service. 11,268,513,380,853 naira only is for recurrent expenditure, while the sum of 13,773,275,994,384 naira only is for contribution to development fund for capital expenditure for the year ending 31st December 2024. Honorable members will recall that the report was laid on Tuesday, 23rd July 2024. Honorable Abubakar Bichi is hereby invited to move for its consideration.
Order, please. Order. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Abubakar Bichi, member representing Bichi Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that House do consider and approve the amendment of a bill for an act to authorize the issue from the consolidated revenue funds of the Federation the total sum of 35 trillion 55 billion 536 million 770,218 naira only, of which 1 trillion 742 billion 786 million 788,150 naira only is for statutory transfers. 8 trillion 270 billion 960 million 606,831 naira only for debt servicing. 11 trillion 768 billion 513 million 380,852 naira only is for recurrent non-debt expenditure, while the sum of 13 trillion 773 billion 275 million 994,384 naira only is for contribution to the development fund for capital expenditure for the year ending on the 31st day of December 2024. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Honorable Igarwe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My highly respected colleagues, my name is Honorable Gariwe Iduma Enwo. I represent Afikpo and Eda Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Ebonyi State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second this very important motion that we consider this report before the House. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Before we proceed on the next matter, it's my pleasure to announce on behalf of Honorable Deacon Chike John Okafo, recognition of some of his people from his constituency who are with us at the gallery. His message reads as follows. Members of the newly constituted National Legislative Network on Nutrition and Food Security, comprising chairmen and clerks of State House of Assemblies, committees on nutrition and food security are up in the gallery to observe plenary. Worthy to note, Mr. Speaker, your investiture yesterday as the patron and our resolve to domesticate the committee in the 36 states of the Federation. Signed, Honorable Deacon Chike John Okafo, PhD. Please, our honorable members and committee clerks, please can you stand up for recognition? Please, a round of applause for them. You are most welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Please sit down. Also, honorable colleagues, a point of correction concerning the motion of urgent public importance that we passed on the need to address the outrage resulting from unguarded comments. No? This is the wrong one you are giving me. The earlier motion on urgent need to address the outrage resulting from unguarded comments by the Chief Executive of the Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Authority, which was earlier moved by Honorable Esosa Iyawe. I earlier announced only one committee, whereas the resolution of the House was for the motion to be referred to two committees. So I now take the committees that this motion has been referred to again. The committees on petroleum resources midstream and petroleum resources downstream. This is for your information. Now, the next order of the day is consideration of the report of the Committee on Finance on a bill for an act to amend the Finance Act 2023 to impose and charge windfall tax on banks and provide for the administration of the tax and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the report was laid on Tuesday, 23rd July 2024. Honorable James Abiodun Faleke will move for its consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. My name is James
Honorable
Abiodun
Ajilo.
Faleke. I represent Ikeja Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the House do consider the report of the Committee of Finance on a bill for an act to amend the Finance Act 2023 to charge windfall levy on banks and provide for the administration of the levy and for related matters, HB 1611, and approve the recommendations therein. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So move.
Any seconder? Air Force.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues. I remain Right Honorable Kabira Lassarum. I represent Ranabunku, the Kibe Federal Constituency. The Speaker, I am from Kano. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my brother and colleague. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. House Leader, can you move that the House resolve to the Committee of Supply to consider this report?
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I rise to move that the House do resort to Committee of Supply in order to consider the money bills. I so move.
Minority Leader,
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the House do resolve it to Committee of Supply. I so second.
those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. House resolve to the Committee of the Whole. Okay. Sorry, honorable colleagues, let me make an announcement before we go into the Committee of Supply. An important message coming from the House Leader concerning APC caucus meeting today, July 23rd, time 3 p.m. Immediately after plenary, venue will be the temporary chamber. Announcer, House Leader.
Honorable Faleke. Honorable Faleke. Which one is the observation?
On a bill for an act to amend Appropriation Act 2024 to authorize the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation the total sum of 35 trillion 55 billion 536 million 770,218 naira only, out of which 1 trillion 742 billion 786 million 788,150 naira only is for statutory transfers. 8 trillion 270 billion naira 70 billion 960 million 606,831 naira only is for debt service. 11 trillion 268 billion 513 million 380,853 naira only is for recurrent expenditure, while the sum of 13 trillion 773 billion 275 million 994,384 naira only is for contribution to the Development Fund for Capital Expenditure for the year ending 31st December 2024. I now invite the Chairman Appropriation, Honorable Kabir Bichi, to give a synopsis of this report.
on the 2024 Appropriation Act amended bill. The House may recall that on Wednesday, 17th July 2024, the President and the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, presented to the House bill of an act to amend the Appropriation Act 2024 to provide for the sum of 6,222,595,926,139 naira only. 3,222,595,926,139 naira only is for capital expenditure, and the sum of 3 trillion naira only for recurrent expenditure. The bill was read the first and second time and referred to the Committee on Appropriation for further legislative action. The House may also recall that the 2024 Appropriation Bill was passed into law by the National Assembly in the sum of 28,777,404,073,861 naira only, and was subsequently assented to by the President and the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on 1st January 2024. Objectives of the bill. The 2024 Appropriation Act amended bill seeks to, among others, make available additional funds for renewed hope infrastructure development projects to be undertaken across the country and to meet other recurrent expenditure requirements, such as the minimum wage increase necessary for effective governance of the Federation. Legislative actions. Considering the fact that the committee was mandated to report back to the House on the bill within 1 week, the Committee on Appropriation consulted widely with the leadership of the House and the other critical stakeholders. More significantly, it met and deliberated with the Honorable Minister of Budget and Economic Planning on the scope of the bill, as well as the source of funding the projects. Subsequently, the committee processed the bill together with the Senate counterpart, in line with the relevant rules of legislative practice and procedure. Accordingly, I present this harmonized report on the amendment bill to 2024 for the consideration and the passage of the House. Observation. The committee observed as follows: the need to provide the government equity component of the renewed hope infrastructure project and the other critical projects to be undertaken across the country and the other recurrent expenditure requirements, like the provision for the new minimum wage, among others, which necessitates the request of the amendment of the 2024 Appropriation Act. Revenue projection. The additional expenditure contained in the amendment bill will be financed by the one-time windfall levy on banks' foreign exchange profit for the year 2023 as approved by the National Assembly. Recommendations. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the committee hereby recommend that the House do consider and approve the amendment of a bill for an act to authorize the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation in the total sum of 35 trillion 55 billion 536 million 770,218 naira only, of which 1 trillion 742 billion 786 million 788,150 naira only is for statutory transfers. 8 trillion 270 billion 960 million 606,831 naira only for debt servicing. 11 trillion 768 billion 513,380,852 naira only is for recurrent non-debt expenditure, while the sum of 13,773,275,994,384 naira only is for contribution to the development fund for capital expenditure for the year ending of the 31st day of December 2024. On behalf of the committee, we thank the Honorable Speaker, leadership of the House, and the entire members of the support given to this committee in processing the bill. We also thank members and the Secretariat staff and the committee for working tirelessly in order to meet up with the time given by the House processing the bill. Mr. Speaker, we so submit.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, for a very elaborate explanation concerning the amendment of the 2024 budget. Without any waste of time, we go straight to the main issues before us. The issuance of 35 trillion, 55 billion, 536 million, 770,218 naira from the Consolidated Revenue Fund for 2024. The Accountant General of the Federation shall, when authorized to do so by warrant, signed by the Minister charged with responsibility for finance, pay out of the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation during the year ending on the 31st day of December 2024, the sum specified by the warrants, not exceeding the aggregate 35 trillion, 55 billion, 536 million, 770,218 naira only. Only for the year ending 31st day of December 2024. Carried. Part A, Federal Government share of Great Federation revenues. Carried. Part B, deductions. Carried. Part C, Federal Government share of net Federation revenues. Carried. Part D, independent revenues. Carried. Part E, other dividends. Carried. Part F, aids and grants. Carried. Part G, special levies, accounts and transfers to CRF and CDF. Carried. Part H, government-owned enterprises. Carried. Part I, others. Carried. Part J, statutory transfers. Carried. Part K, debt service. Carried. Part L, recurrent non-debt expenditure. Carried. Part M, capital expenditure. Carried. Honorable colleagues, having gone through all the clauses, it's my honor to put the question before you. In respect of the clauses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, stand part of the bills thus. So I put the question, those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, the second report to be considered don't confuse me. You have given. The second report to be considered is that of the Committee on Finance on a bill for an act to amend the Finance Act 2023 to impose and charge windfall tax on banks and provide for the administration of the tax and for related matters. I now invite Honorable James Abiodun Faleke to give the synopsis of this bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. First, let me apologize that the report is not yet fully circulated, but it is going on right away. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the House on the 17th of July read the bill the first time and was referred to our committee. The Finance Act is to amend the act to include the windfall levy, not a tax, windfall levy on the banks on which they earn as a result of the forex. And I need to explain, sir. The government supported in the bid to control the exchange rates, supported some banks, 5 banks, to be precise, with funding so as to be able to mitigate the exchange rates. However, the exchange rates, of course, fluctuated, and the banks made some gains, which the CBN, of course, withheld because it is not, the gains were not made in the normal business, in the normal day-to-day business of their entities. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the committee, the joint committee of the Senate and the House resolved that rather than sharing the profit at 50-50, it should be 70 to government and 30% to the bank to serve as that, like their cost of collection. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the recommendation, of course, is contained on page 4 of our report, which says that the application of the provision of Section 30 of the Principal Act shall take effect from 1st January 2023, that the levy shall be 70% on the realized profits from all exchange transactions of the banks, and that any banks that fail to pay the windfall profit levy to the service and has not executed a deferred payment agreement by 31st December 2024 shall be liable to pay a fine of the windfall levy. So the committee wishes to thank the leadership for and the members for giving us this opportunity to act on this bill expeditiously. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues.
Thank you, Chairman, Committee on Finance, Honorable Dr. Faleke. Members have heard, and I believe everyone has listened and understand the basis of this particular bill. It is the bill that will support the financing of the amendment. Without it, the amendment cannot fly. That is the revenue generation aspect of the budget. So it's very important for the two to go together. So without any waste of time, I call on you also to look at the recommendations as contained in the report. Number 1, that the application of the provision of Section 30 of the Principal Act shall take effect from 1st January 2023. Carried? 2023 to 2025. Carried? The levy shall be 70% on the realized profit from all exchange transactions of banks to the government, while 30% to the commercial banks. Carried? Any bank that fails to pay the windfall profit levy to the service has not executed a deferred payment agreement by 31st December 2024 shall be liable to pay the windfall profit levy withheld or not remitted, in addition to fine of 10% of the levy withheld and not remitted per annum, and interest at the prevailing Central Bank of Nigeria minimum rediscount rate. Carried. Thank you very much. Leader, please can you move that we revert back to plenary?
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the House do revert to plenary. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I second the motion that you revert back to plenary.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. House has revert back to plenary. Thank you. And now we are done with it.
Yes.
So this is.
Like the way I did it, I approved all the clauses 1 to 13 and the law title of the bill.
This is for the
That is
budget,
appropriation.
the finance.
Recommendations 1 to 3 of the report.
Okay. Where is my other
This is
paper?
what you need.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Honorable colleagues, the House and Committee of the Supply considered the report of the Committee on Appropriation on a bill for an act to amend the Appropriation Act 2024 to authorize the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation the total sum of 35 trillion, 55 billion, 536 million, 770,218 naira only, of which 1 trillion, 742 billion, 786 million, 788,150 naira only is for statutory transfers. 8 trillion, 270 billion, 960 million, 606,831 naira only is for debt service. 11 trillion, 268 billion, 513 million, 380,853 naira only is for recurrent expenditure. While the sum of 13 trillion, 773 billion, 275 million, 994,384 naira only is for contribution to the development fund for capital expenditure for the year ending 31st day of December 2024. And in so doing, we have approved all the clauses, number 1 to 13, and the long title of the bill. Thank you very much. Again, the House and Committee of the Supply considered the report of the Committee on Finance on a bill for an act to amend the Finance Act 2023 and to impose and charge windfall tax on banks and provide and levies, windfall tax and levies on banks, windfall levies on banks and provide for the administration of the levies and for related matters. And in so doing, approve recommendation on clauses 1 to 3 of the report. Thank you very much. Honorable colleagues, it's my pleasure to invite the leader to move that the House consider these two bills for third reading.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, after that very eloquent report from the Committee of Supply, I rise to move that the House do adopt that same report. I so move.
The minority leader.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion as moved by the House leader. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. Sorry, so you can now move for the third reading, please. Can you move? Sorry, the previous is adoption. Thank you. Please, can you move for the third reading?
Mr. Speaker, Julius Ihonvere, on one federal constituency, Edo State, I rise to move for the third reading of the bills represented and considered and passed by the House.
The leader, please.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion as very ably moved by the House leader. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. Let's have it. Clerk.
The Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to amend the Appropriations Act 2024 to authorize the issue from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation, the total sum of 35,536,536,770,218 naira only, of which 1,742,786,788,150 naira only is for statutory transfers. 8,270,960,606,831 naira only is for debt service. 11,262,380,853 naira only is for recurrent non-debt expenditure, while the sum of 13,773,275,994,384 naira only is for contribution to the Development Fund for capital expenditure for the year ending on the 31st day of December 2024. Third reading.
Bills read for the third time and passed. The next order of the day is consideration of two reports standing in the name of the House Leader. The House Leader will move for their consideration, please.
Mr. Speaker, Professor Julius Ihonvere, I rise to move that the House do consider in Committee of the Whole the two bills earlier proposed, one on the minimum wage and the other on the tenure of the Inspector General of Police. I so move.
Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion that the House do resolve into Committee of the Whole to consider the reports on the two bills, particularly the bill on the review of minimum wage. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. The next order of the day is consideration of report of the committees on power, commerce, delegated legislation, and national planning on the increase in electricity tariff. Honorable members will recall that the report was laid on Tuesday, 23rd July 2024. Honorable Victor Okolo will move for its consideration.
Right. Honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Victor Nwokolo, member representing Ika Northeast, Ika South Federal Constituency. I do rise to move that the House consider the interim report of the joint committees on power, commerce, national planning, and economic development, as well as the legislation on the increase of electricity tariff HR 16604 2024. I so move. Mr. Speaker, because of want of time, I pray the House that I read out the recommendation and the conclusion.
Has it been seconded? Have we seconded?
Second.
Any seconder, please? Yes, Honorable. Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Abubakar Yahya Kusada. I represent Kenkia Kusada and Ga Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker, I'm from Katsina State. I rise this afternoon to second the motion moved by Honorable Chairman Power. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. It's okay. We will just take it to the committee of the whole, okay? So this motion is referred to the committee of the whole. My attention was just drawn to an omission when I was reading the report, the chairman's report. I didn't clearly call for the third reading. Is it the third reading of the finance bill? So it's my pleasure to invite the clerk to read the long title of the bill.
The Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to amend the Finance Act 2023 to impose and charge windfall tax on banks and provide for administration of tax and for related matters. Third reading.
And passed. The next order of the day is consideration of the report standing in the name of the House Leader. The House will move for their consideration.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move that the House do resolve to Committee of the Whole.
Sorry, please sit down, Leader. It's all modeled up because of these additions. Leader, can you move that the House do resolve to the Committee of the Whole?
Thank you very much, our able Speaker. I'm Julius Sinhovere, OON, DSSRS. I rise to move that the House do resolve into Committee of the Whole to consider outstanding reports. I so move.
The Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to support the motion that the House do resolve into Committee of the Whole. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is it. House has resolved to the Committee of the Whole. Thank you.
So you have the three police there, the three police there. Yeah. Is remaining. This minimum wage. They made a mistake. See here, this is minimum wage. See what they put here. Amendment of the Nigerian Police Act. So it's a mistake so that they can correct it. So we start with minimum wage. Yes, they're starting with minimum wage. Okay, so it's only these two that they're going to take. Yeah. The minimum wage, the minimum wage and police. That's a procedural right. We have only two reports here. The minimum wage.
Honorable colleagues, the first bill to be considered is for an act to amend the National Minimum Act, Wage Act, number 8 of 2019, to increase the national minimum wage and reduce the time for periodic review of the national minimum wage from 5 to 3 years, and for related matters. I invite the leader to give the synopsis of the bill.
Mr. Chairman, as I indicated earlier, the issue of the minimum wage as at today is more or less resolved. There is cross-border agreement to move it from 30,000 naira to 70,000 naira, an increase of 40,000. And I think this will make our people considerably happy and be prepared to at least adjust their living conditions to enjoy
Thank
the
you.
minimum wage. I urge my colleagues to please support this new minimum wage, and we know that in another 3 years, according to the bill, there will be another conversation on a possible increase.
Clause 1, Clause 2, Clause 3, explanatory memorandum, long title. Most distinguished colleagues, the second bill to be considered is for an act to amend the Nigerian Police Act 2020 to enable a person appointed to the office of Inspector General of Police remain in office until the end of the term stipulated in the letter of appointment and for related matters. I invite the leader to give 1 minute synopsis of the bill. Leader, please, 1 minute.
Mr. Chairman, this is just a one-clause amendment to prevent the constant rollover before end of tenure of the IG of police. It does not in any way affect other clauses in the Constitution that could be invoked when there are violations. So it is essentially to say the tenure lasts as it is in the letter of appointment. I think my colleagues should support this. It will support security, continuity, assurability, dependability, and productivity of the IG.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, honorable colleagues. The question is that 3 clauses be made part of this bill. Clause 1. Is it circulated? It's been circulated. Clause 1, Clause 2, Clause 3. Explanatory memorandum, long title. Honorable colleagues, the report to be considered is that of the committees Power, Commerce, Delegated Legislation, and National Planning on the increase in electricity tariff invite Honorable Victor Wokolo to give the synopsis of the bill. Please, 1 minute. You've already led the debate. Let's have it 1 minute, please.
The report.
Yeah, the report. The report.
What is about the referral to the Joint Committee of the House, the Committees of Power, Commerce, National Planning, Economic Development, and dedicated legislation on the electricity tariff increment, which was referred to the committees. It was considered by the joint committees. For the want of time, I'll quickly go to the recommendations of the House. The report has been fully widely circulated among members. The findings of the joint committees is that the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission should reverse to the status quo as earlier contained in the motion of the House when it was considered, and that within 60 days they should comply with the provisions of section 116, 2D, E, 3B of the Electricity Act. That an independent team of experts should be contracted by the joint committees to carry out forensic investigation on what should be the actual cost of electricity tariff. 3, that all electricity distribution companies should reverse to the old tariff pending the resolution of the matter by the House. The conclusion of the joint committees is that the implementation of tariff increase should be over a period of time. It should be in phases, not what they have just done. It should be in phases. Then the committees thank the Honorable Speaker and the leadership of the House for giving them the opportunity to serve in this ad hoc committee.
Thank you very much. Honorable colleagues, the question is that recommendation 1 to 3 be made part of this report. Recommendation 1, recommendation 2, recommendation 3. House Leader, please move that the House revert to plenary to reports, to tender the report of the Committee of the Whole.
I rise to move that the House do revert to plenary and receive reports from the chairman. I so move.
Please, Leader.
Mr. Chairman, I rise to second the motion that the House do revert back to plenary to report progress from Committee of the Whole.
Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The House hereby reverts to plenary. Most distinguished colleagues, the House in Committee of the Whole considered a report on a bill for an act to amend the National Minimum Wage Act number 8 of 2019 to increase the national minimum wage and reduce the time for periodic review of the national minimum wage from 5 years to 3 years and for related matters. Approve clauses 1 to 3, explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill. Most distinguished colleagues, the House and Committee of the Whole considered the report on a bill for an act to amend the Nigerian Police Act 2020 to enable a person appointed to the office of the Inspector General of Police to remain in office until the end of the term stipulated in the letter of appointment and for related matters. Approve clauses 1 to 3, explanatory memorandum, and the long title of the bill. Most distinguished colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the committees on power, commerce, delegated legislation, and national planning on the increase in electricity tariff and approve recommendation 1 to 3 of the report. Leader, please move that the House do adopt the report from the Committee of the Whole as a working instrument of the Parliament.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I rise to move that the House do adopt the reports from the Committee of the Whole as eloquently presented by the then chairman, now Speaker. I so move.
Thank you very much. Can you second, leader?
Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion. I so second.
Those in support of the motion that the House do adopt the report from the Committee of the Whole as a working instrument of the House, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. The report of the Committee of the Whole is hereby adopted as a working instrument of the Parliament. Leader, can you move that the House do adjourn? Leader, please do move that the House waive our rules to have the third reading of both the minimum wage as well as the Police Act.
Mr. Speaker, I rise that the House do waive the relevant rules to enable us take the third reading of the bills on the national minimum wage and the amendment of the Police Act. I so move.
Leader, can you help Sodinobi, please?
I rise to second the motion moved by the leader. I so second.
Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Please, can you read, clerk? Give us the third reading of the two bills.
The Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to amend the National Minimum Wage Act number 8 of 2019 to increase the national minimum wage and reduce the time for periodic review of the national minimum wage from 5 years to 3 years and for related matters. Third reading. A bill for an act to amend the Nigerian Police Act 2020 to enable a person appointed to the office of the Inspector General of Police remain in office until the end of the term stipulated in the letter of appointment and for related matters. Third reading.
The bill for an act to amend the National Minimum Wage Act number 8 of 2019 to increase the national minimum wage and reduce the time for periodic review of the national minimum wage from 5 to 3 years and for related matters, read third time and pass. The bill for an act to amend the Nigerian Police Act 2020 to enable a person appointed to the office of Inspector General of Police remain in office until the end of the term stipulated in the letter of appointment for related matters, read third time and pass. Please, Chairman, Rules and Business, move that we waive our rules to adopt the vote and proceedings of today's engagement, please.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I rise to move that the House do waive its rules and adopt today's proceedings as so moved.
Thank you, Leader. Leader, can you second that we do adopt the vote and proceedings of today's engagement?
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, I rise to second the motion that we do adopt our votes and proceedings for today. I so second.
Thank you. Those in support of this motion say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The votes and proceedings of today is hereby adopted as a working instrument of this Parliament. Leader, please move that the House do adjourn sitting till the 16th of September, 2024.
Mr. Speaker, Professor Julius Ihonvere, OON, DSSROS, KSC, I rise to move that the House do adjourn till the 6th. Same venue, same time, I so move.
Before I ask the leader to second it, let me announce that the members of the APC caucus will be meeting right away. The time is 3 o'clock at the former chamber, where we're using as a temporary chamber. So members of APC caucus, we are meeting immediately after now. Time is 3 o'clock. Leader, can you second the motion moved by the leader that we do adjourn till 16th of September 2024?
Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion that the House do adjourn till 16th of September 2024. I so second.
Before I throw the question, I want to thank you on behalf of the Speaker of the Parliament on how you have given great support to the leadership of this House in ensuring that we have unity, that we have harmony, that we work with one purpose. We appreciate all your support and we don't take it lightly. We pray that you enjoy your holidays, that you spend time with your constituents. We hope to see you soon. But if in the course of these holidays, there is a need for us to recall you for an emergency, please be well disposed to that. Having said that, I want to ask the question. Those in support of the motion that they have to adjourn that the House do adjourn till 16th. I'm hearing 16th is Monday, so it's 17th is amended to 17th. If 16th is Monday, the next legislative day is what applies, so it's 17th. Those in support of this motion that the House do adjourn to 17th, say aye. Those against, say nay. I'll ask that question again. Those who are in support that the House do adjourn till 17th of September, say aye. Aye. And those against, say nay. The nays will stay. And some of us who believe in I will go. The House is hereby adjourned the 17th of September.